Torah in 2 minutes-ish. How do you deal with people complaining? It's always a tough thing. How do you deal with somebody who is just getting on your back and are making, we'll even say, unreasonable complaints? The Torah deals with this. This is Parshat Beshallach this week, when the Israelites finally get out of Egypt, get out of slavery. They get to the Red Sea. They're pinned down there. The sea splits. They make it through. What's the first thing they do? They sing. They sing joyfully. They're finally free of their oppressors. And what's the next thing they do? They complain. They immediately begin complaining. Life is so good in Egypt. We had food. We have no food here. We're all going to die. Why did you do this to us? We should have stayed there. And instead of snapping and just saying, why are you so ungrateful? Why don't you see things my way? Things weren't good in Egypt. We're slaves. We can figure this out. Instead of snapping and just yelling, Moses and God figure out a way to address the complaint. They want food. We'll have them food. They have manna that's rained down from heaven. They complained, and the complaint was addressed. Not all the particulars. They were ungrateful and irrational in the way they complained, but rather than respond to the irrational part, Moshe only responds to the rational part of the argument. That's helpful. Not to zero in on every bad argument that somebody makes, but to look when somebody's complaining and see, is there a core here that is reasonable, that can work with, rather than all the nonsense. Set the nonsense aside and address the core. Doesn't mean everyone's going to be happy, because the Israelites in the story aren't happy in the end, but the substance of the complaint, in fact, was addressed. We can learn from this in today's society. Don't focus in on every crazy statement that gets made by somebody. You can set some of this stuff aside. Try and think of what's reasonable in this argument and how can we address that. And maybe we can progress forward like our ancestors did. Shabbat Shalom.